So, you're building a SaaS company. You know the market is absolutely packed. It feels like you're shouting into a void, right? So how do you actually cut through all that noise? Well, in this explainer, we're going to break down a really clear, actionable playbook for SaaS strategy. We've pulled together insights from some of the best in the business to give you a solid framework. Let's get right into it. It really all comes down to this one question. And spoiler alert, it's not just about having the most features or raising the biggest seed round. Nope. The smartest companies, the ones that really last, they come at this with a plan. They don't just show up to compete, they have a strategy to win. And this is the big idea that's going to guide us through everything. A winning strategy doesn't start with obsessing over your competitors. It actually starts with a brutally honest look at your own business. That's the looking in the mirror part. Only then, once you know who you are, can you effectively look out the window and analyze the world outside. So we're going to tackle this in 5 clear steps. First, we'll measure your own SaaS engine. Then we'll scout the competition. After that, we'll listen to what the market is really saying. That's going to help us find the white space, your big opportunity. And finally, we'll define your position so you can plant your flag. All right, let's dive into part 1, measuring your SaaS engine. This is that look in the mirror moment. Because let's be real, before you can even think about taking on the world, you have to know if your own house is in order. I want you to think of your business like a high-performance race car. You would never enter a Grand Prix without checking the engine, the fuel, the tire pressure, right? Well, your metrics, that's your diagnostic check. They don't just tell you how fast you're going, they tell you if you're even built to finish the race in the first place. Okay, so the first and most important gauge on your dashboard is your monthly recurring revenue, or MRR. This isn't just a sales number. It's the predictable, reliable income from your subscribers. It's the absolute lifeblood of a SaaS business. Why? Because it's what lets you forecast hiring, plan your marketing spend, and just make smart decisions. It turns pure guesswork into real strategy. Now this is where the rubber really meets the road. We have to talk about the LTV to CAC ratio. That's your customer lifetime value, how much a customer is worth to you over time, versus your customer acquisition cost, what you spent to get them. This ratio isn't just a number. It is the fundamental health score of your business. That 3-to-1 ratio, that's the magic number. It's a sign of a healthy, scalable engine that investors drool over. If you're below that, you're basically lighting money on fire. So just to recap, these are the 3 main dials on your dashboard you've got to watch. You've got your LTV, your CAC, which is kind of like your fuel efficiency, and of course your MRR, which is the speedometer showing your steady speed. Get these 3 things dialed in and you are ready to hit the track. Okay, engine check is complete. We've looked in the mirror, we know the engine is humming. Now, it's time to look out that window. Welcome to section 2, scouting the competition. It's time to really understand the battlefield you're on. The SWOT analysis. I know, it might feel a little old school, but it's a classic for a reason. This is not just some boring business school exercise. It's a powerful strategic map that forces you to connect your internal reality, your strengths and weaknesses, with what's happening out there, the opportunities and threats. This is where you find your leverage. And a simple chart like this can bring everything into sharp focus. Just look at it. With one quick glance, you can see where you're crushing it. Maybe you've got a killer user interface, and where you're vulnerable, like maybe you're falling behind on integrations. This isn't just a table, it's a battle plan. It gives your product team a roadmap and your sales team their best talking point. And hey, don't forget, you're not the only one doing this homework. Your potential customers are looking at these reports right now. G2 is telling them who has the happiest users. Gartner's Magic Quadrant is telling them who's building for the future. You absolutely have to know the story that's being told about you and your competitors out in the wild. All right, let's keep building here. We're going to go a layer deeper than just looking at what our rivals are doing. Section 3 is all about listening to the market. Why? Because the customer's truth, well, that's the ultimate source of intelligence. I just love this quote because it's so painfully true. So many founders and marketers spend a fortune on complicated research trying to find some hidden insight. But guess what? A huge chunk of what you need to know is already public. It's organized and it's just sitting there on software review sites, waiting for you. And look, this is not just a hunch. The data backs it up completely. Look at Partner Stock. Almost a third of their buyers were active on G2. Or CloudCherry, a whopping 76% of their late-stage deals involve G2. So if you're not paying attention to these sites, you are literally invisible for a huge part of your customers' buying journey. And you can tap into this gold mine like right now. Seriously, try this super simple 15-minute routine. Just pull up your reviews and a couple of your top competitors. Scan for the patterns. Why did people buy? What almost stopped them? What drives them crazy? And here's the key. Capture the exact phrases they use. That is the voice of your customer. Hand it to you on a silver platter. Okay, so you've checked your engine, you've scouted your competitors, and you've listened to your customers. Now we get to the really fun part. Section 4. Finding the white space. This is where all that research transforms into a real, untapped opportunity for you to win. White space analysis is just the formal term for this hunt. It's the search for the gaps. You know, that space between what everyone else is doing and what customers are still screaming for. This is where you stop just competing on features and you start competing on real insight. This is where market leaders are born. Now, a lot of people mix this up with something called blue ocean strategy. Here's a simple way to think about it. Blue ocean is like creating the very first iPhone, a whole new category that didn't exist before. White space analysis is often more practical. It's like what Slack did. They saw teams using a dozen clunky tools to communicate and created one amazing solution within that existing market. So where do you find these golden opportunities? Well, you've got to look everywhere. Are there certain customer groups that all your competitors just ignore? Are there annoying problems that nobody is solving well? Could you expand to a new country? Or maybe, could you just offer more value to the customers you already have? The opportunities are right there if you know where to look. And that brings us to our final section, where every piece of the puzzle comes together. You've done the deep work, you've found the white space. Now it's time for Section 5, defining your position. It's time to plant your flag in the market. Look, strong positioning is built on 4 unshakable pillars: your value proposition, your target audience, your differentiation, and your messaging. And trust me, these are not just fluffy marketing buzzwords. They are the foundation of your entire go-to-market strategy. If even one is weak, the whole structure gets wobbly. You take all this thinking and you distill it down into a positioning statement. Now listen, this is not a marketing tagline for your website. Think of it as a sharp, internal document. It's the compass for your entire company. Every product decision, every ad campaign, every sales call, it should all align with this one statement. It's your strategic North Star. So there you have it. We've gone on the whole journey, from looking in the mirror to looking out the window, from checking your internal engine to mapping the battlefield and finding that unique place where you can win. The only question left is the one that only you can answer. You've done the work. Now, where are you going to plant your flag?